So today we're checking 2-month-old baby Maeve. We're just doing an infant well check. So I always like to start by kind of letting baby settle in on the cushion. That way I can observe what she prefers. Does she prefer her head going one way? Bless you. Is she relaxing? So we're just going to start by gently moving her limbs around, make sure she has full range of motion and mobility. And of course, babies have some reflexes that want to bring their arms in, so the arms are often the hardest part to check. So we just trick you a little bit. We like that she's got strength to be able to pick herself up on me. I'm just going to check her collarbone while we're at it. Let's bring that one up. Sometimes during the exam, if I get stuck on a certain part, I'll skip it and go back to it later because I kind of like to follow along with what baby's trying to do or tell me. So just observationally, her head is tipping a little bit to the right and it's rotating slightly to the left. I always take a lot of data points, and so I'll look at that further along through the exam. But right now what I'm doing is checking her tailbone, her sacrum. It's a little bit compressed, so I'm just doing a little bit of downward pressure. This also can sometimes be the magic button if a baby's upset to kind of calm them down, which I like. So we'll keep you face up and we'll check your diaphragm. Babies who spit up a lot can have some diaphragm tension. So just using a little gentle pressure to see if there's any restrictions, adhesions, trigger points. Always observing to see how they respond to any stimulus because it gives me a lot of information. You can also see, maybe I'll show her face for a second. We can see her left eye is just slightly smaller than her right. And so that's something that we take in as a data point as well for some TMJ or cranial work. She's adorable. You know it too, don't you? So now we go back to that left arm, see? Now we can bring that over her head. All right, we're gonna go ahead and check you from this side. One other thing when I'm checking babies is if they are upset or crying or doing anything that they don't like, I just change their position around. I'll put them on my lap, I'll put them on top of mom, I'll move them around quite a bit in an effort to distract them enough so that they don't get too upset. So now one thing we wanna do is check and see if she has the ability to turn her head to the left and the right. So right looks really nice. Left is a little harder. Can you see that? And so we're not forcing anything. We're just kind of trying to get her to turn a little bit if she wants to, but left is a little harder. So I'm going to check her neck with my hand underneath. So in this position, I can hold her head steady. I can touch the left side with my finger and the right side with my thumb. So we had some right lateral flexion. We had some left rotation. Okay. So we're just going to check and see if she has anything significant in her neck. And as I was explaining before, the adjustment is what we call a sustained hold. So we hold a vertebrae or a couple of them in a direction that we want her head to go, and we let her body do the rest of the work. So the trick here is just being really specific and patient, and ideally your baby will be patient too, until she just decides, or her vertebrae slides into the position that we want. That's so good. All right, next thing I want to do in the same supine position is check her cranial bones, TMJ, tongue tie, any of those kind of things. So we just kind of come in here slowly and gently. Were you talking about her upper lip, Mom?
Yep.
Her range of motion's so good.
Oh, good.
She doesn't need anything there. So there can be a tie, like a thick piece, but as long as the lip moves really far, it's fine. It's definitely getting around the breast and everything fine. So yes, that's right. So we're just going to check the roof of the mouth, hard palate. She does have a shallow hard palate. Does she gag at all when she's nursing?
Not when she's nursing, actually with the pacifier.
Pacifier, yeah, because her hard palate is short. So I don't know if there's an option to get a shorter pacifier. Just so you know, that's an actual anatomical reason she's gagging.
Gotcha.
Because you kind of saw that with me. I couldn't really get my finger, even in as much as I want before she has that response. So we're just going to check the jaw on the other side. She's a little tight in there. It's really normal for babies after they've been born to have a pretty tight jaw. So we just massage that. So with her head shape is really nice and her face shape is really nice. We're just going to pull that frontal bone up a little and rotate the cranial bones just a little bit. And this just kind of gets everything moving. It's all going to grow and expand as she grows, but it's just going to help make sure that the sutures expand evenly. So we just use a little counter pressure on the hard palate. I got you captive, huh? You're so captive. Okay. Wow. All right, so we're going to check a couple of things with you in this position now. So this position gives us a lot of data. Can she hold her head up? Does she prefer to hold it up on one side or another? A lot of times if there was a torticollis that we were worried about, we would adjust inside between the shoulder blades. Do actually a little bit of that in a second. And then she does have a little sticky spot on the left side of her tailbone. All right, let's go back to this spot and do the thoracic adjustment. You're drooling, baby. So this is the one we just stretch her out. Just picture yourself laying over a bolster or a yoga block, and you're just getting that nice chest opener. That's what we're doing right now. It's interesting to see what babies think is really comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's nice. That's nice. So this would be, so I just moved down a couple of levels and you could see how she got a little fussy with that. If that's fussy. But then we just stay there. We just stay there until her body helps us work it out and she relaxes her tone. She has great muscle tone though. Not too much, not too little. And we're going to go down to the lowest spot in the thoracic spine now. This is also a spot that influences reflux the most. So we'll want to spread that out. Maeve, I almost forgot to do one thing. We're going to do two more things now. So first we're going to rotate your pelvis, keeping your shoulders on the cushion. This tells us a lot about whether there's any restriction in her spine or dura. The fact that she can keep both of her shoulders down on the cushion is a good sign, and the fact that she's not too upset by this stretch. I'll do the same thing on the other side. This is oftentimes homework I'll give parents if there is a restriction, or just do a little stretch. She definitely prefers this side, much more relaxed. So I may actually have you do this at home. Okay. Let's try this side one more time. Yeah, she's just a little bit more wriggly on this side. And the dural tension can have to do with the head tilt preference too. That's why it can come all the way down to the tailbone. Okay, last thing. Check this tailbone again. So I'm just going to adjust the right side of her tailbone. You opened your eyes really wide for that one. Okay, Mom, will you take her out of her onesie? The other thing is you just always want to look at skin. You always want to make sure you're not missing some, I don't know, potential surgery she already had that Mom forgot to tell you about, or any other sort of birthmarks or things that could be consequential. That's perfect. Okay. Hi. Hi. Oh my goodness. Look at her belly button. It looks like it's been there a long time. Look at your finger. Your finger. So this is where I just like to check her gluteal creases. Make sure there's no deviation. If there's a big deviation down here, we look at sacral position. But you got to make sure it's not happening while her head is turned. So you'll notice if she turns her head one way or the other. Actually, let me put her up here. Will you grab her outfit for a second? So you can try this in a couple positions. So they really look very normal to me. But that's just a good place to sometimes catch things, spina bifida or any sacral rotation. But other than that, you're basically perfect, Maeve. Yep, and you always want to check the ankles, hands and shoulders. Questions?
I think just, anything I can do with her at home or to help with that.
The main couple recommendations I'm going to give you are this dural twist. So again, I'll show you again. You want to leave her shoulders on the ground, and you're not picking her up. You're just rolling her a little bit.
Okay.
So this side's staying on the ground, or the cushion. Everything else is staying on the cushion. It's not like you're doing this, right? You're just.
Right.
It's not like you're changing a diaper. You're just rolling her.
Okay.
Do that on both sides.
Okay.
Do that for about 20 seconds on each side, a couple times a day. And then with regard to her head tilt preference, you just want to really make sure that you're entertaining her as often on both sides.
Okay.
When you're doing diaper changes, it's kind of best to be on the end, but if you're against the wall and you're constantly changing from this side of the changing table, it's actually really nice if you can vary her position, which is hard when we're not ambidextrous. Sometimes there's one parent who likes doing this side and one parent who likes doing that side, and that helps with her biomechanics and ergonomics. You gotta start thinking about ergonomics even as a baby. So those are the main homework pieces for you.
Okay.
I would double check her myself in like 2 weeks and see how she's doing. But I mean, you're pretty much perfect baby. So all right, I'm just gonna check her neck one more time. So I just want to make sure. That's a perfect vision right there, that right head tilt and left rotation. It was interesting to me that she didn't have a lot of left rotation, even though that seems to be her preference. So let's see. Okay, that's perfect. Let's go to the right side now, Maeve. Let's have Mom go over here. Because she likes you, apparently. Yeah, that's the other trick. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of like a real pathological torticollis here. I think it's going to be good if we just working both sides of her neck. So we'll check her in 2 weeks and see how she's doing.
Great.
We started with a sneeze, we ended with a sneeze. All right. Cool, thank you.